hello everybody. Hello Chapo. Look, I have amazing timing. You just... you don't know. I'm the best at it. Oh, whoops, that is not the thing that should be up. There we go. That's what I get for having 50 tabs open inside. That's fine. You know, at least it wasn't a drawing with a dick, right? That would be a little bit bad. But that's okay. That's okay. Here, let me... I need to... grab a couple things first. That's in a couple different folders. Let's grab this in this program. Lit. Can we save as a Photoshop file? Oh. How well will this work? The boys. Hello, Chase. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing okay this evening. Having the goodest of times. There we go. We'll open this here. What do you mean? So desu ne. I do not think this is going to work then. But we're gonna try it anyway. You know what, we'll just save this to the desktop. You know, trying to transfer files between programs that were not intended to have files transferred between, not a good idea. But that's okay. Oh, yeah, that doesn't look quite right. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, we might have something. We might have something. We'll put it there. Okay. That might not be the best composition in the world, but we're gonna do the thingy. Move you, Maruki boy. Be about there. There we go. There we go. I think that's doing good. Hello, Shris. Hello, Ivan. I'm gonna pour myself a drink. I hope that is okay. If you can hear it as ASMR, that's alright. If you can't, lit. Yeah, well. Oh, well, like, certain programs don't like, when you save files as that program's main file type, it doesn't quite, open correctly. In a different program, you know? You know, when you have like 5 different programs for making digital art assets, it can get a little bit weird sometimes. But that's fine. That's fine. Let's grab you. Let's grab... What size of ink brush do we want? This looks fine. That looks fine. There we go. This will be a little bit slow going, guys, but that's fine, right? We're just here to relax. Have a nice time as I draw some doggos. Right? Right. There we go. Something's off about Roan's head. Well, it's not on model, for one thing. We can redraw Roan in a bit. Oh, Michael. Hello, hello. Here we go. Let's see here. I at least like how the Morrowind turned out, so it's okay for us to ink it first. We'll go and fix up the other two in a bit, like their drafts. When I wanted to get started on Morrowind's inking. Just a little bit. No. Oh yeah. Let's see here. There we go. Does he look like a tired, out of it boy? Okay. Yeah. Here, I can probably turn up the... Wait, that's not the audio switch for that. This one is. Okay. I'll figure it out. Yeah. Here we go. Thanks, I'll put away. Oh, hello, Lou. Hmm. Okay. That looks alright. We can raise this a bit, though. There we go. Maybe. Maybe. That's okay. Hmm. There we go. Hmm. There we go. That's looking alright. Those are some nice arced lines. Yeah, Hello, Ophelia. There we go. There we go. Yeah, those lines look okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll just create a quick shape here. Hmm. Okay. Let's, Hello, Hershey. Okay. Hmm. Sorry for the cheat there. I didn't want that to take too long. I still think this is my favorite, more newer track from an FVN. It's kind of just nice. I used it in my shitty, like a video essay I made. No one should watch that. Can we call it a video essay? I don't want to call it that. How's this looking? Oh, it looks pretty alright. I haven't done an inked drawing like this in a hot minute, so... Surprised the lines look okay. Look, curves like that are always hard for me, okay? Okay. He's slowly getting there, guys. He's slowly becoming a guy, I guess. Inking always takes a while for me. Probably because I do it really poorly, but that's fine. That's fine, right? Oh, here, let me check the designs real quick. I'll just pull up my thumbnail. It has all three of them. There we go. Probably not. Should have used the different sized brush, but that's okay. We can clean it up with this. There we go. There we go. How does that look without the, you know? That do be a head, right? Okay, what was wrong with Roan? Okay. Do we just redraw the whole thing? Okay. Let's readjust some proportions. Or we can still use the old drawing as a base, right? Slate? Oh my god. Okay, but why he gotta look like that, though? Like Ivan, why he gotta look like that? Why he gotta be that thick? Oh, damn. Scaly Riz? I don't think that's true. Most Scalies in these games do not have Riz. Actually, is maybe just this all I'm missing to make it look like Roan? Gator slash Croc, you auto simp. Auto simp. There aren't even a lot of good Gators and Crocs in these games. Is that the reason that you're starved for content? Either a wolf or a wolf. I mean, wolves are cute. Ain't she here? How we? There's that. I guess we should change his head fur, because that's distracting. That doesn't quite look on model, as it were. It's so floofy looking. Like it is. Oh, but it's not exactly like how it should look. People already have to look at the large abstraction I already produced with these characters, with how I draw, so don't want too many more distractions. Maybe we shorten this length. Maybe that's it. Because his head fur isn't very tall, and I keep making it very tall. Maybe like that. I suppose this means I should adjust the back fur. Like this stuff. Because what, it's more like... Alright, see you, Babalshi. No, I don't think that looks much better. Now I think it's too long. Okay. We'll do that. Oh, that at least. Okay. Probably create better draft of his cheek fluff. is what this will... Okay. Does kind of fix that up? What do you all think? We'll work on his little knob for a second. Should I make that bigger? I probably should make that bigger. It's like one of the only real design elements on them. There we go. There we go. We'll try to tighten up the lines here so it's easier for me to ink. There we go. I think we'll do it like that. Yeah. I think that works. Maroon will be mostly cut off, but that's fine, right? Should Maruk's arm get cut off? Should they all be confined within the thingy thing? I actually think that's fine. Hopefully we can continue with this for now. Oh, that was the wrong brush. The wrong brush. Okay. What we got? Get rid of that for a second. Yeah. Okay. I made him look a little bit skinny. That's fine, right? Well, I should probably minimize this picture of Roan. I don't need that on my other monitor anymore. Wait, do we even want that on our other monitor anymore? Do you all have a favorite lad from the roads of yet traveled? I don't think there's one that I like aggressively like more than the rest. I think it's more that I'm just like, let's not Aroan. Let's not Aroan today. I don't want to have to take care of Aroan in my life, you know? I already have to take care of myself. We don't gotta take care of no Roan. I mean, I'd rather not have a man serious that I have to actively babysit, because I already have to babysit myself. They're all pretty tame personality-wise. That's very true. That's very true. This cast kind of do be, you kind of just, like, get what you get with them. And not in, like, a bad way. But definitely, like, I meet them and I'm like, yep, that's the character. Shirokoi? I've only played the Temptations of Ballad from them. I didn't dislike it. I think it was pretty cute. I don't think I was very in love with it, though. That was just kind of a, oh, look at all these, like, fun times. Look at all this. Look how cute this is. Look at how, like, thing it is. How many names can I ruin for my viewers? We love Artemi in this household. I hope whenever anyone thinks of her, they think of the name Artemi. Oh my god, what? What's worse, that I call her Artemi or that I call Cole's dad Morrowind? Not Morrow, just Morrow. Yeah, I call him Morrow. I got a lot of comments for that one. Yeah, Morrow. Morrow. Yeah. How's this Morrow doing? Very lopsided, but that's okay. Tire? What's wrong with tire? Donnie. Yeah. We love Donnie. Which one's your favorite of my amazing gifts of language? I might be partial to Donnie. I think that one's great. Terrible. I mean, why did they spell the name as Tyre if that is not how it should be pronounced? It has Ty and then an R after, so Tyre. Like, I think that's fine. Well, his name's Tyre for the playthrough. And I don't think anything's changing that. Short of a pronunciation guide from the writer. If they, like, post one in the comments, I'd be like, oh, maybe. You know, like I did with Chinya. Where I'm like, oh, that is not DeWitt. But also, I want it to be DeWitt. Part of me do be, but DeWitt. OPG Dwick. Oh. Look. I felt bad that, like, was it... It wasn't red, or was it red? I want to say it was Saber. Damn, I forget. One of the dev members of Glory Hounds, it did post a pronunciation guide in the description of, like, part 1 or 2 of Glory Hounds. Did I say rain check on accident? I meant Glory Hounds. And we did not follow it. I was just like, we've already recorded like 6 parts by the time this came up. Damn. It's too late. It's too late. You know, other than me mispronouncing some names on purpose, you know, we love Milo in this household. There, does this lad look okay? What do you all think? He's like mostly inked now. Did he come together pretty alright? Ah, no. どうしよう。I mean, the characters in this game do serve a lot of those tropes, don't they? I'm like, wow, it's like I'm back in 2007. And maybe not in a good way. Actually, I think that doesn't really, like, work today, does it? Because, like, most people don't remember 2007 anymore. Like, that era of culture, of, like, weeb culture, what anime was like in 2007, what people talked about, all of our dank memes from back then. It was a different time. Oh, was it? I think it was like a year or two after that, but we had like the Hatsune Miku juice video, right? You know the one I'm talking about. Get bullied for being a weeb back then. That was one of the most infuriating things, is like seeing it, like, anime go from like, did you interact with Asian culture in any way, shape, or form? You were labeled as a weeb and actively ostracized. And then like 4 years later, those same people are like, oh my god, did you see the new episode of My Hero Academia on Crunchyroll? And I'm like, I will kill you. This is what's going to cause me to become a school shooter. It was an odd transition to witness, that is for certain. Real. It's okay. I had already graduated high school by the time Hero Aka came out as an anime. Oh. I was already in the collage. So it do be that way. A different time, as it were. A time where anime was better, even. I do kind of look at, like, what is it, 2013 to 2015 as, like, a large turning point for, like, the way anime was marketed globally, to a detriment. To an active detriment. In 2016? That's not, like, too far after me, though. You weren't like, oh, baby. You were in your free phase? Oh, no. You were that kind of baby girl? Like, damn. I see how it is. I don't think I was ever in, like, a free phase. Like, I remember when that came out, and I was just like, man, that's, like, too pandering. And I am not the demographic for it. It's like, nah. What was I enjoying in the year of our Lord, like 2015, 2014? I think I bowed out of actually, like, keeping, like, in 2013 and 2014, I really wasn't keeping up with, like, seasonal anime at that time. I think I was, like, God, this is gonna sound nerdy, isn't it? I think I was, like, actively, like, studying, like, film and, like, television for school already. So, like... No, wait, it wasn't at that point. I was doing self-study for that. Because I wouldn't start taking classes for that until a few years later. Is there a modern anime I like? Yeah, it's called SSSS Dynazenon, and literally no one else but me likes it. I loved streaming that in the Discord a year or two ago, and just seeing people in the call glaze over slowly as that show kept droning on, until, like, you know, I got the amazing question that I always love hearing, which is like, what is this even? What is it? What am I supposed to get from this? And I'm like, yes, yes. It's so pretentious that only I like it. Because I love the way that show communicates its characters to its audience. The problem is that it's an active detriment to the likability of the show. Because that show trusts its audience too much, where they just go, yeah, from moment one, you can tell if characters are lying or not, right? Right? to the point where like it's directed in a way to where you're meant to identify the physical mannerisms of characters, not how they talk. Because it's characters constantly like saying anything to get out of social situations that they like make them uncomfortable. So you can't actually trust the script to figuring out who these characters are. So a lot of people will just read the script and can't like, they'll like okay, so X character says this, so that means they think X, right? Only for them to like reveal that no, they didn't think that at all, and they go like, wait. It's like, no, you're supposed to look at their physical mannerisms when they said it. You can't tell if people are lying. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, that show is... It also is, like, very densely layered visually, where they do expect you to read a lot into its color design and how shots are framed. Like, I'll always think of the shot in... Plus, it doesn't help if that it's in Japanese. It is true. It is true. I remember there was like an entire scene where you have two characters avoiding talking about the subject at hand, talking entirely around it, but still resolving the core issue that they had with their relationship without ever mentioning it. And you as an audience member are supposed to pick up on that via how shots are framed and how they are not talking about it. And I'm sitting there watching that scene going, beautiful, amazing, it communicates everything so well. I remember watching it with people on my Discord and they're just like, why are they talking about getting fast food? It was very good. It was very good. I did get to watch that show again recently. I streamed it with Grizz, and you know, he's like a writer, right? So he had some troubles with some things in that show. And I remember him saying something along, like, later in the show, like episode 10, which is my favorite episode, because the pretentiousness of its visuals was on full display. And I remember, like, near the end of the episode, he said something along the lines of, I know that this episode is saying a lot. I cannot decipher all of this visually. I do not have that skill set. But I know that it is saying things. Is it anywhere close to the Monogatari's pretentiousness? So it's oh god, so this is, are people gonna be upset at me? I don't think Monogatari has pretentious visuals. I don't think the visuals in Monogatari say a lot at all. Oh yeah, that's gonna get people to kill me. I think the visuals in Monogatari are there in order to keep the audience engaged through the pretentious script. Not as a replacement for it. While in Dynazenon, you really have to pay attention to the visuals more than what the characters are actively saying. ADHD visuals, it really is, though. It really is. I've never watched an anime that felt more like the script is there for the intellectuals. Because, you know, it's a light novel, right? And those are the people that are like, oh my god, it's so smart. I have a friend that loves that series. It's okay, I can make fun of it. And the visuals are there as jingling the keys in front of the audience that isn't there for the script and isn't really paying attention. So like that's what the visuals feel like to me for Monogatari. Like I just stopped paying attention to them after a certain point because I'm like, wow, it's meaningless. Aside from like some really nice shot composition and direction, those visuals do not have like a lot going for them. But that's what it is. It's technically proficient in a lot of ways. Is that enough to make it so that people won't dislike my opinion on on that? Is that enough explanation? Or are people still gonna be like, no, those visuals are amazing? And I'm like, look. I like the visual direction by Akihiko Shimbo as much as the next guy, because of course I know the director's name. But he's done better anime in terms of visual direction. He's done Sangatsu no Lion, which I just think is a strict upgrade. So, you know. At least in terms of the direction itself, right? That's what I mean by that. In a 30-minute video essay, it would be 5 minutes long, and it would mostly be me going, you're incorrect, and I'm correct. Let's not waste our times anymore. Oh, I haven't watched that one yet. I really liked Sangatsu no Lion. That was a very... I think that's the peak of Shimbo's career. I don't think he'll ever top that series. Like, it always felt like every episode he would find some new way of expressing the emotions in a scene, and I just loved every second of it. Like, every single scene is just dripping with emotional intensity. Whether or not, like, that intensity is trying to portray, like, the absolutely crushing waves of depression, the warmth of, like, eating a meal with your friends, or just how groggy and lost you can feel when you wake up in the morning. Like, every scene is just dripping with that. Just atmosphere out the ass through its shot composition, its color design. Really good stuff. On top of that, the manga series is very well written, and they're just copy-pasting that script more often than not. So, it's good. It's very good. There we go. Of course, that anime is, like, also a bit hard for people to watch, I think. Because I've recommended that show to people, and they usually come back going, I don't want to feel those things, so I stopped watching. Or my favorite comment I've heard, because I remember recommending it to a classmate in college, just for, like, actually just for studying purposes, right? Just like, oh, if you want to study, like, color design and stuff. And this girl came back and was like, I didn't know I could feel that while watching a show. I'm never watching that show again. I felt too bad as a person. Right now. Obs, are you good? Yeah, there we go. There we go. We're reconnecting. Yeah. So it just kind of just is what it is, right? But I thought that was really funny hearing that from an art classmate, right? Where I'm like, maybe this isn't the course for you, like. Because I'm like, what do you mean you don't, like, have never experienced that, like, consuming a piece of art before? What? Like, those are some pretty, like, basic emotions to get down on paper. But, you know, I just think that that show does it very, very well. I think most people go as far as seeing it's a show about, like, a kid playing shogi and think, like, it's going to be boring as shit. And, like, no. I've never quite understood that. The way people dismiss a television show for its premise above anything else. Like, I realize, you know, glass houses, right? Like, people think that I'm picky as fuck because I, like, don't watch a lot of modern shows, or I'm very dismissive of them. But it's never due to the premise. Like, I don't... You can show me the most boring pitch imaginable. I'm caring about how we're doing things, right? Like, how are we communicating the thing? How are we producing this? Like, and it's usually like I'll look at the key art and go, yeah, no, fuck off. Or I'll look at the staff list and go, wow, no. Because, like, I know what to expect production-wise. Which, like, I understand looks as, like, pretty dismissive to a lot of people, and it is in a different way. You know, glass houses, as I say. And maybe it's just because I studied art for a while, but I'm always like, man, a premise means nothing. A premise does not tell you anything about a project. So it definitely feels weird to me to judge a thing based on just the ethical synopsis. The staff could surprise you sometimes. So, Cirrus, how much are you going to improve at a 9 to 5 that you do every day ad nauseum? How much are you actually improving yourself? Or is it going to be a 9 to 5? It's going to be a 9 to 5. Like, once you think about it that way, right? Like, this is indeed a job. Plus Japanese work culture. Yeah, these people aren't sitting there actively improving themselves every production they do, unless they really want to, right? Usually it's like, however skilled a person is, that's probably how skilled they're gonna be for their career. And I don't mean that, like, too, like, mean. Because, like, I get it. It's like Squidward says SpongeBob, we do this for and then we die. Oh my god. Oh, Eggy. But it's like that, right? Serious, like. Also, a staff member, like, still at the end of the day, a staff member is still, like, looking at the staff, is still going to be more indicative of a show's quality versus looking at a plot summary, right? That's still, like, the goal of that argument. Busy. Yeah, everyone's busy this month, and I totally get it. It is December, the most statistically stressful part of the year. I blame boomers. We're going to... Oh, no, that one's gonna... This is gonna suck a bit. This is fine. Because, yeah, I do try to watch at least, like, one episode of a handful of shows every season to be like, okay, what's going on right now, like, in Japan, right? How's the anime industry going? And I'm usually very disappointed. There's usually, like, 1, 2 shows a season that I look at and go like, oh, wait. Something's cooking. Someone's cooking with this. And then most people will be like, Josh, what the fuck is this anime you just pulled up out of nowhere? And I'm like, that's not My Hero Academia or Jujutsu Kaisen or like, what are other, like, bad popular shows? Demon Slayer, Re:Zero. Oh, I get so much flack for dismissing all those shows. I feel like I have grounds for Hero Aka, though. I read like 300 chapters of that manga, waiting for it to get good. And it never did. Though people, I found that a lot of people get really upset about my opinion on Hero Aka, because of I did not, I don't pay attention to the fan base, right? I thought the overhaul arc was garbage from start to finish. I thought that shit was terrible. And hearing that was like one of the fan favorite arcs for a long time, I'm like, are you kidding me? What? And you're like, how do you hate it? It's so good. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? This arc is about nothing. This arc is actually about fucking nothing. And like, I could rag on how like it is so formulaic in how it's constructed that like you know exactly from the start of the arc who's dying and who's losing their powers before that arc ends. Like right from moment one, while you're still in the prologue of the arc, and I'm like, okay, like I get it. It's not that it's predictable, just the fact that they set everything up from moment go. But the fact that we set up so much of that from moment one, and we have to go through like volume-long fight scenes, I was so tired by the end of it. Like, what, the overhaul fight itself is like 2 or 3 volumes of manga? And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I am so bored. Yeah, I'm so bored reading this. Like, this is so much worse than Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. And I already hated that fight for taking up a whole volume. Let's see here. Then again, I'm still that weirdo that thinks that like Shonen Jump as a magazine has never evolved past Dragon Ball. And that's a little sad. Like, you can put all of these new fancy, like, Shonen Jump manga in front of me, and I'll read it, and I'll sit there and go, yeah, but it's not as enjoyable as Dragon Ball from a moment-to-moment basis. Like, come on. I realize that we're copying, like, the arc formula of, like, things like Dragon Ball going forward, but people can at least figure out why Dragon Ball worked, and it's because it was entertaining. Like, it's not that hard to figure out. Like, if you sit down and read the Dragon Ball manga, it is entertaining to read from start to finish, ignoring how stupid the fights are. Actually, the fights are still part of the fun. But, like, that cast is so much fun to be around. And I don't think we've ever managed to create a cast that's, like, as endearing as that one. I think One Piece gets, like, close, but One Piece also stifles itself in a way that's really annoying and makes me not want to read it. And still, its cast isn't actually as endearing. I actually think the closest we ever got to, like, solving that issue, you know, the Shonen Jump action issues, right, was Yu Yu Hakusho. And that almost killed that mangaka, and he quit the industry for a bit. He canceled his manga and then left the industry for a little bit. Which maybe he should have stayed retired. I couldn't believe that a few years later he was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again, guys. This time, I won't cancel this manga. And, you know, he kept to that, I guess. Hunter x Hunter is still technically going. Oh well, you'll never see the end of it, but it is still going. He has made good on that promise of not, like, canceling it himself. Even though I really think, didn't he die? Is he dead already? Did he finally die? Last time I checked, which granted was like a year ago, he wasn't dead yet. Maybe he died. Or are you confusing it with another mangaka? Look, it is this way. It is just this way, isn't it? Oh, who else died from overworking themselves? Blast. Granted, at least with Hunter x Hunter, he doesn't release regular chapters, so, like, he's taken his time. He will die before he finishes it, but, you know. Hello, Ty. You can smile. I smile a lot. I have a lot of things to smile about, you know. Hey, you know, I got this channel. I got you guys. There's plenty to smile about. Yeah. Is she here? Because what? I think the only shows I'm watching this season, like, I'm watching the new season of Natsume Yojincho because that show never fails. It never falters. It just is what it is. It's been like 15 years since it started going. And it's been more than that. Oh no, it's like 16. 16 or 17 years. Ooh. Oh, I think it has been 17. Yeah, I think that's the number. Because I think it started airing in 2007. Yeah. Very good, very good. But, like, that anime's still good, still has great direction, beautiful. And I'm, like, also watching Dragon Ball Daima. Because, you know, it's Dragon Ball, so it's automatically endearing. And is probably, like, actually one of the best shows of the season, not gonna lie. Has good production value. Very entertaining. Has that Toriyama charm that you come to that show for. Or franchise, really. It do be a shame it's just not being promoted, though. Like, it's doing pretty poorly in terms of, like, online views. And, like, Toei does not care about advertising it to a global audience. That kind of sucks. Do you prefer the adventure or high action of Dragon Ball? So, I think this answers it a lot better. I think the highest peak of quality for the Dragon Ball franchise was the original era of Dragon Ball, and the lowest is Z. I would rather watch Super and GT over Z. That's my hot take. That's like my extreme Dragon Ball hot take. I thought Z was awful and failed to capture what makes that cast actively endearing and, like, timeless. Because I would actively call, like, original Dragon Ball kind of timeless in how it delivers its narrative and how it communicates its characters. And then you have Z, which is the most pop culture. We are doing this because these tropes are the most popular right now. It was such a give up button. No offense to anyone that likes it, of course. Just when I was reading Dragon Ball, that's all I felt from it. And boy, when you read the author's note pages, it shows. Where you'll just get, like, you'll have author's note pages by Toriyama, and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing for this arc. Oh, I included X. Like, you may have noticed I did this volume. Yeah, that was a mandate from my, editor. I had nothing. Like... That man was phoning in like 90% of Z. That's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. It's why it's like, I think one of the worst parts of the franchise is just, you can tell how phoned in it is. Especially the android arc. Those are some miserable author's notes to read, by the way. If you've ever sat down and read the manga, like the author's pages, oh boy, I felt so bad for Toriyama. I'm like, sir, are you okay? Oh, whoops. And no, he was not. He hated writing that arc. And if you're reading the manga, specifically, because I will be honest, I never watched the anime for Z. Never done it. That just sounds like a waste of time. I read the manga instead, so... And I have heard that they retooled basically the entirety of the Android arc just so that it didn't suck like in the manga, which is really funny to me. Cause boy, is Gohan straight up not a character in the manga. Oh, Toriyama did not care about Gohan. Which, so fair, bestie. I didn't care about him either. I think he's probably one of the worst main additions ever added to Dragon Ball. Which was addressed in one of the author's pages for Toriyama. In the middle of the Boo arc, you just have this author's page in which it's like, oh, you may have noticed that I switched the protagonist back to Goku. Having Gohan as the protagonist just wasn't working out. And that was the end of that note. I thought that was very funny. There we go. Well, this is gonna take me a couple thingy things, but that's fine. That's fine, right? I just automatically stop caring. I think it's good sometimes, but not all the time. Like, I actually think, oh god, maybe people will be upset at me about this as well. I think Super as an era does a decent job of, like, portraying the legacy of Dragon Ball. Like, seeing Goku, Gohan, and Pan and stuff. Like, just doing day-to-day life stuff, and it's like, oh, huh. That was something that I think that the Super era got right, is showing more of the everyday things that these characters do. As much as people are weird and want Dragon Ball to only be an action franchise, which I think is incorrect. That's just me. You don't get the point in the Dragon Ball Super manga in which they all play Mario Kart together, which was amazing, and we loved that. Beerus joined in and everything. Beerus got so upset on getting last place, he Hakkai'd his controller. It was very funny. And at the end of the, at the end of that volume, they showed him, like, sneaking off to practice playing Mario Kart late at night, because he's just like, no, I will not lose to these mortals again. That's Dragon Ball to me, by the way. Like, that's a comedy manga to me. It. Beerus, yeah, no, Beerus is great. Beerus is great. I love that man. It's like the one thing I was a little sad about with Daima is that it takes place before Super, and so we don't get Beerus and Whis, who were like actually some of the best new additions you could have ever asked for in Dragon Ball. They were so much fun. Which is what that franchise should, like, strive to be at all times. Like, If I'm not having fun watching Dragon Ball or reading Dragon Ball, you're fucking up. Like, that's just that you're just fucking up. It's the reason why, like, One Piece lost me after a while, is once you start getting to, like, Wano, pages are just, they look like light novel pages. Because there is so much narration reminding you of what is going on during Wano and who these characters are and what everyone is doing at every second, because the entire cast splits up pretty early in Wano, and so it's like, what's Luffy doing over here? What's Zoro doing over here? What's Sanji doing over here? Will Robin ever be relevant again? What's Nami doing? Posing in front of a mirror with new clothing. Of course she is, because she's not a character anymore. What's Chopper doing? Getting a new hat? It's because he's not a character anymore. Oh. That's why I stopped reading One Piece. It just got boring. Granted, the fact that it took until Wano for me to stop and go, I don't care anymore, you know, is a feat in of itself, you know. I usually don't go that far with a lot of series. Yeah, because I find manga pretty hard to keep up with due to how... okay, this might sound bad. Due to how poor the conditions are for the manga industry, it really impacts, like, the quality of chapter to chapter, making manga not fun to read because it's kind of produced like ass. That's not the fault of the manga authors. That's the fault of the industry. Because those conditions are so poor that it's not good. It's not good at all. I'm like, excuse me? You expect this person to write, illustrate, like, 20 pages of this comic book in 6 days? Like, while changing things per, like, editor requests during that time? What? No. And, like, you can tell all the time. I'm just like, bruh. That's a little better when you're reading, like, a bi-weekly, like, manga. Or a monthly publication. It's, like, a little bit better. It's the reason why I liked V-Jump over Shonen Jump for a little while. Is because V-Jump was a monthly magazine, and thus, like, you know, those creators get a little bit more time to work on their thing. But V-Jump is also one of the biggest, like, cash grabs on, like, Shonen Jump. Because, like, I realize that if you read V-Jump online, you won't get this. But if you're in Japan and you pick up a physical copy of that month's V-Jump, it is, like, half of it is advertisements and, like, promotional material. And, like, because I do own one. I did buy one when I was in Japan back in, like, 2020. And yeah, that thing is like... And what's weird is the manga pages are printed on, like, newspaper quality paper, and then all the advertisements are done on, like, the really high quality, what you would consider from, like, a magazine type of paper. And so just, like, it's a weird book to hold. Because, like, part of it is newspaper paper, and part of it's magazine paper. Like, the nice, like, laminated feeling paper. Like, it's weird. And it, like, crunches weirdly. It's not a good sounding book, let me tell you. But I had to get that month's issue because that was the issue that they announced the new Digimon card game. So I do have that advertisement, which is why I bought that magazine, is I happened to be in Japan at the time. And I was like, well, like, I want it. Kind of reflective of how they treat their manga. It's really true. It really is. Like, it feels very weird. Like, I read far more American comic books than I do Japanese manga. Granted, all I read from American comics is Marvel and DC. Y'all can make fun of me, it's fine. I'll sometimes branch out and read, like, the other publications. Like, Dynamite's actually doing a lot of cool stuff currently. Granted, it's tie-ins to a bunch of pre-existing stuff. But it's cool that Disney's paying for it, you know? Because, for some reason, Dynamite/Disney is producing a bunch of, like, sequels to stuff. Like, next month we're getting a Zootopia comic book, and it legitimately takes place right after the last scene of the first Zootopia film. They're like, yeah, we're picking up right after that scene. It's just going. I'm like, lit. I'm reading that next month. I'm so excited. The only Western style comic I've read is Black Sad. Ah. That's not surprising, but I understand. Is there stuff that I'm enjoying? I still really like Ultimate X-Men by Peach Momoko. Like, still amazing, still great. Granted, that's just the manga being produced in America, so you know how it is. She's at least getting paid American, like, pricing, so, you know. She's in, like, is on an American time schedule, so it's good for her. DC's a little weird at the moment. I'm not reading a lot of DC. Have been enjoying Feral. You didn't have to tell me that, Cirrus. I remember when that comic came out, and I read issue 1, and I went, wow. They might as well just call this Cirrus Core, the comic book. Do I think it's very good? Not at all. But it certainly is a comic book of all time. DC's being really weird at the moment because it's trying to juggle, like, 2 different events at the same time right now, and I'm not really here for it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the Absolute Universe. I know it's, like, the #1 hot-selling thing in comic books right now. I think it's kind of lame. Like, if you like Scott Snyder and his work, that's, you know, more power to you. I don't think he's a bad writer. What I do think is that, like, I think his work comes off as... do I want to say childish? It comes off as kind of childish to me. Where it is the style of writing in Scott Schneider, sorry, different one, always comes off to me is like taking action figures and just bashing them together, and that's your book. And that's a lot of fun. Like, every time I read a Scott Snyder book, I'm like, I am having a fun time. I don't want to be reading this. Like, I would like something a bit more gratifying to read other than back-to-back really cool action set pieces with the most, like, rule of cool bullshit characters. It's not for me. It's not for me at all. But I'm glad that that universe exists for people that are like, I really want this out of DC. It's like, okay, well, it's now off in its own corner. Because that was always my issue with Scott. Is like, anytime he would come in on a book or event, it would always like derail what those characters were doing. Because, you know, it's Scott. You know, I don't like metal. I don't like death metal. I didn't like those events. Those are not for me. But at least, like, with Absolute, it's like, it's off there in that corner. And I can ignore it. I read issue 1 of a couple of them and was like, Absolute Wonder Woman's fine. Absolute Batman is, like, really funny. But I don't think I was supposed to think of it as funny. It's one of those where, like, it's so over the top that, like, I couldn't take anything seriously, and I was, like, laughing the majority of reading that. You know, when he rips off the logo off his own chest, like the Bat logo, and then attaches it to a pole, and it is now an axe, we have gone full camp, I think, and I am not taking anything this book is doing seriously after that point. But that do be a thing that happened. While, like, on the flip side of that, I think, like, what All In is doing as a banner event at DC is really good. I'm really enjoying All In, which is, like, how they're bringing back the Justice League and stuff. Because the Justice League has been gone for, like, 3 years. 2 years? I forget how long it's been. But the Justice League were gone for a while. They, like, disbanded. And have now reformed. So, you know, the League is back, and that's nice. Like, for fans and such, it's nice to see those characters again. Then they're bringing back a bunch of characters into relevancy. Like, as soon as I saw that one of the new comics was called The Question, and I saw that cover, I almost felt like tearing up. Like, oh my god, Montoya is The Question again? It has been almost 20 years. It's been more like 15. I am exaggerating a bit. But she hasn't been, like, The Question since right before the New 52 happens. So it's like, oh my god, we're picking this back up again? Like, amazing. That's what I wanted for the longest time. Because I really like Montoya as a character. And seeing what they did with her in the New 52, I was like, oh... Oh. Oh, wow. But, you know, she's back as The Question. She's now the sheriff of the, like, Justice League Watchtower. Yeah. It's a really fun mystery comic. It's very Western inspired. It's very fun. It's a lot of fun. Don't know if I would recommend that book to people, because it is just like, it relies a lot on, like, do you care about Montoya? And I feel like most people, when they hear that name, they're like, who? Which is a little bit weird to me, but I understand. Omega level mutant. You couldn't take Marvel seriously. Well, Omega level mutant is like off over there in X-Men land. And X-Men Land is like its own separate chunk of the Marvel universe, which is kept very separate from the rest of it. It's a little bit weird. There's this like weird segregated line between like, what are the mutants doing? And what's the entire rest of Marvel doing? That, and like for some reason, American superhero comics bring in the power level people of like, oh, this character is stronger. And it's like, no one cares about that. No one cares about that. These books are written like soap operas. Like if you sit down and read superhero comics, they are written like TV soap operas. It is that level of characters shouting at each other and stupid shit happening just to keep these stories running. And it's beautiful. Because instead of it being like a rich family dealing with social classes and stuff, it's now superheroes. And that's amazing. Because, like, the majority of the time, most comic book readers that, like, actively read comics skip the fight scenes. I've asked around, and a lot of even, like, larger scale YouTubers have admitted to it, that they just skip the fight scenes because they don't care. They are there for the tasty drama. Because that's the kind of crowd that also brings in comic book people. Kind of damaged your first impression of comics. Yeah, it's just like those videos make a lot of like that's just a separate community of people that read comics. Oh yeah, Ivan. Like it was a thing that was brought up even back in the 60s, where like you would have author's notes and letters pages, because like at the end of Marvel comic books, they always have a letters column where it's like, fans can write in to say something and we'll respond to it, right? It's been a tradition since the 60s. And even back then, you would have people in like the Spider-Man books going like, oh, I'm far more invested in Peter's daily life drama than anything happening with like Hydra Man trying to rob a bank. People are reading these comics for the drama. And that's why I don't like Scott Snyder books, right? It's because it's like all action all the time, and I'm there for that drama, baby. I am there for that. Like when issue 4 of Ultimate Spider-Man came out this year, and the entire issue was simply like a double date dinner with Peter and MJ on a date with Harry and Gwen, and just the interplay and the drama of that dinner scene, easily my favorite comic book of the year. Like, it is beautifully written, it is beautifully made. I was at the edge of my seat reading this fucking dinner scene. You don't understand. Like, every other panel, someone would say, like, oh my god, Gwen said something really scathing that, like, would probably hurt MJ's feelings. And then you get to the next panel, and you'd see MJ, like, clearly being annoyed, but being very, like, cordial about it, and just either changing the subject and trying to keep the conversation going, or saying a snide thing back to Gwen, and it's like, ooh, yeah, that did hurt her. Like, it's that kind of drama. And I was so there for it. It's weird. It's definitely a weird world, because I think a lot of people just assume that, like, the appeal of superhero comics is the superheroes doing superhero things, and it is not. The appeal of it is superheroes doing mundane things. Yeah, unless you're reading, like, of course, like, books that are meant to be more whatever, right? Like, I think about, like, the cosmic books over at Marvel, where, you know, if you pick up Silver Surfer, you're not gonna like have an issue where Silver Surfer is like getting a hot dog from like a New York hot dog stand. Instead, he's going to be flying through the ether, pondering the meaning of life and stuff like that. Like that's the type of thing you're gonna get from like Marvel Cosmic and stuff. Which again is why the MCU films about like the cosmic characters really suck. Oh yeah, there's a Batman webtoons. It's pretty popular. The about the Bat family in general. It's pretty neat. It's kind of cute. I do think it's sad that it is like out of continuity so that they can include certain characters. They really refuse to bring back Alfred. Like, I thought... It's been 6 years. It's been 6 years since Alfred died. And they have yet to bring him back. That feels a little bit weird to me. Not gonna lie. So, like, it is cute to read like that, the webtoon, to be like, oh my god, certain characters are alive here. And you get to see them interacting like in a cute way with people. And they even remember that Duke exists. Like, oh my god. Everyone's favorite member of the Bat family, Duke. That was a failed character, wasn't it? I don't even like Duke, but I just feel bad that he, like, never gets mentioned anymore. Considering he was, like, introduced to fill, like, a criticism of the Bat family, only for people to wholly ignore that he exists. Which one is he? So he's Signal. As if anyone knows who Signal is. Is he the black character? There are like 3 black members of the Bat family. Because we just keep forgetting that they exist. We have Jace, Luke, and Duke. Oh, hello, Mega Puppy. And heck, if I remember right, Jace has the mantle of Batman still. By the way, we have 2 characters running around as Batman in comics. You know, it's fine. He hangs out in a different city, so, you know, there's no... no getting that mixed up. I hope they throw Alfred into the Lazarus pit. There are no more Lazarus pits. They got rid of those like 4 years ago. How's everyone? How it goes? I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty great. Yeah, so if you're unfamiliar, Ty, back in 2020? 2021, we had the event Lazarus Planet, and that got rid of all Lazarus pits on Earth. There are samples of Lazarus, they call it Lazarus resin, where it's like there are characters that have held on to like samples of it. And they've brought back a handful of characters using like the Lazarus resin to try to like, but they don't, like, it's kind of like writer's convenience. Like, oh, this character just happened to have like a sample of Lazarus resin left. But Bruce refuses to like make Alfred a ghost butler. No, it's not a magic book. I think the main reason why they refuse to bring back Alfred is it's like a major motivation for Damien. Because it was Damien's fault that Alfred died. So they've kind of used that as like the inspiration for, or like the motivation for Damien to not be as big of a shit as he used to be, as he's like, oh, I got Alfred killed. That's actually my fault. Like, and that's always something that gets brought up, like, in his own, like, narrations, is like, oh no, like, I fucked up. Like, I hurt Bruce in a way that, like, I don't think I'll ever be forgiven for. Let's see here. Well, it's at least 2 of the boys, like, almost there. Yeah, they clearly want, like, the death of Alfred to, like, mean something, so they don't want to bring him back and undermine that whole thing. And whatever is convoluted in the Batverse. So the way that I think about it is, so there's a lot of, like, in-universe jargon with, like, superhero comics, but it is the most, like, milquetoast storytelling you can think of, because it's like, well, what does this mean? Oh, it's just here. Are you in the Damien hate camp? Oh, Damien was an awful character for like 15 years. Like, that character was so almost unsalvageable. Especially, like, a lot of people, they've now grown up with Damien. Like, a lot of people, now people have grown up with Damien. So people just like Damien because they grew up with him. Damien was such a poor character for so long. And it's basically taken in the last 5 years that he's become, like, a tolerable character to keep around. Now that, like, we have, like, a more consistent characterization for him. Because, like, that was the problem, right? Is, he just was so inconsistent on what DC wanted out of him for about a decade that I'm like, fuck it, get rid of him. He sucks. Damien also killed Nightwing in Injustice. Well, Injustice is Injustice, right? Like, I more take issue with the fact that, like, Damien existing makes Jason and Tim invalidated. Like, Tim and Jason now cannot operate as characters in their roles that they were supposed to have in the Bat family because of Damien. And I find that really annoying. Especially Tim. I feel so bad for that character. Because, like, what are you... I don't think there's any fixing Tim now. There is nothing you can do to fix that character. He's kind of just stuck here, doing nothing forever now. Because, you know, there's a lot of people that grew up with Tim and love Tim. And so, like, DC has him, like, stick around. But no one knows what to do with him anymore now that Damien exists. Because Damien has taken Tim's original role of being the successor to Batman. So Tim just kind of is around. Like, oh, no, we spent over a decade building up Tim as being the replacement for Bruce. Like, to like, getting the mantle of Batman. And then introduce Damien. Well, what do we do now? Well, we just forget Tim, I guess. And that is what they did. Why do they keep introducing new Robins? So it was pretty fine for a while, right? So, like, you think about it, and it's like, okay, Dick Grayson grew up to become Nightwing, right? So we needed a new Robin. So we introduced Jason. Fans fucking hated Jason. And so did the writer. We know that from interviews where the writer fucking hated Jason. And so they killed him. Well, we still need a Robin. So Tim was created. But this was in a time period in which like legacy characters were starting to really matter. And by that I mean the early 90s. So Tim was created to serve as, because Dick like can't succeed Batman because he's Nightwing, right? He's his own hero. Tim was created specifically to be like, you are the character that will inherit the mantle of Batman. That was the entire point of Tim. I do not know why in the mid-2000s they created Damian Wayne. I legitimately don't understand why that happened. Because it just... it ruins Tim, like, going forward. You can't... It's very short lifespans. Just be that way. Yeah, Dick is the one with the ass. This is true. This is true. The most famous ass in DC Comics, Dick Grayson. And, like, Stephanie was supposed to die. Like, she became Robin, and she was supposed to only be Robin for one storyline, and then die. And then editorial was like, no, we can't just kill off a child character like that. Don't kill them. But we also can't have her stick around as Robin, because that's Tim's mantle. So she got fired. Fucking blessed. Like, actually. She's Batgirl now, it's fine. She's doing good. She got sent over to the girl mantle instead of Robin, right? So she's doing alright. And, like, Carrie isn't canon, so we don't have to worry about her. So we do only have, like, 5 Robins, and considering that the mantle of Robin has existed since the 30s, I think we're doing pretty good. It's only been, like, 90 years, and we've only gone through, like, 5 characters, so... And one of them was only Robin for, like, a weekend. So... we really only have 4. So it is what it is. Get rid of these. Do these two look okay? How do you think these are looking? How do you like the boys? Now that they are properly inked. I mean, like, we don't have the extra layer of ink and shadows, but, like, you know, we'll do that. We'll finish up Roan and then do that next time, I think. It'll be a minute, right? Right. These always take a little bit longer. These are definitely not one-stream things. I think this will look okay with this in the background. Maybe it doesn't work as well as I thought it would, but that's fine. Sorry for holding you back. Nah, it's fine. I wouldn't say you were holding me back. I mean, I still like to talk and things on these streams. I don't like just sitting here for 3 hours. That's boring, right? Right? Like, I want to hang out and talk to you guys, right? This is what it is. It's fine. No worries. Here, I will save this. and probably end it there for the night. I think we're gonna do that so that I can go eat. I think I'll make curry tonight. That sounds like that could be fun. So yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around. Have a good night, everybody.